Better now that we're older. High school in Jakarta, sort of modern Sparta. Had no chance against the teenage suburban armadas. We were a sonata, thanks to tight with fathers yelling.
I will start with introduction. Malaysian education policy is designed to promote national unity and improve the country's social and economic well-being by ensuring that every student give access to quality, fair and inclusive education. One of the most important reform was the Malay Education Blueprint 2030 to 2025. It introduced 11 key improvements to the education system. For example, shift number 1 is aimed to give all students equal access to high-quality education, while shift number 4 is focused on improving teacher training and making teaching a more respected profession. More than 15,000 parent, teacher and experts were involved in shaping this reform, showing Malaysian effort to build a modern and globally competitive education system. However, even with this effort, exams like PT3 and UPSR continue to cause high level of stress. Students were memorizing facts just to pass instead of learning to think critically or solve problems. This also affected their soft skill and mental health. Because of this, the Ministry of Education decided to replace this exam with the School-Based Assessment System or PBS. This new approach aimed to reduce exam pressure and support student overall development, not just academically, but emotionally and socially as well. In this presentation, I will explain the problem with the old exam-focused system to purpose of the new PBS policy, how it's being put into practice, and what improvement can still be made to prepare students for the future.
Thank you, NAJIHAH. I am SITI AISYA. I will be presenting the key problem that existed in Malaysia education system before the implementation of the reform under the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2030-2035. Previously, our education system was heavily exam-oriented. National level examinations such as UPSR and PT3 become the main indicators of academic achievement. However, this approach created several serious issues for students, teachers, and even parents. The first problem is the immense pressure placed on the student by their parents. Many Malaysian parents believe that only academic success could secure a good future for their children. This belief caused students, even at the primary level, to attend tuition classes after school and spend most of their time to study. According to Dr. Alvin Lai from Sunway University, students who don't meet academic expectations often face judgment from both family and society. This pressure not only affects student academic performance but also their mental health and emotional health. Second issue was the lackness of readiness among the teachers to implement school-based assessment of SBA. Although SBA was introduced to promote holistic assessment, many teachers struggle to understand and apply it effectively. Research found that teachers lack proper training and face increased workloads. Some misunderstood SBA as just a new way of testing rather than part of the learning process. Issues like the time pressure, lack of material, and unclear guidelines made it hard for teachers to carry out SBA in the classroom. Another problem was the syllabus itself. It was too dense and covered too much content for students to absorb meaningfully. Teachers often had to rush through the syllabus just to meet deadlines. There was little time for deeper learning, discussion, or creativity. The pressure to finish the syllabus made it difficult to focus on students' individual development or use classroom assessment effectively. This problem weakened effort to shift from rote learning to more engaging student-centered education. Another serious concern was to the stress and mental health issues. The exam-oriented environment placed extreme pressure on students to succeed. According to the Malaysian Journal of Medical Science, about 29% of students reported high anxiety before major exams. The National Health and Morbidity Survey also recorded a rise in mental health problems among students from 13% in 1996 to 20% in 2011. This shows how deeply the pressure to perform in exams affected students' well-being. Finally, the old system neglected holistic development. Because of the strong focus on exam scores, areas like physical education, moral development, arts, and emotional growth were often overlooked. This goes against the national education philosophy, which calls for balanced development in intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects. Students were being prepared to pass exams, but not necessarily to succeed in life. To summarize, the exam-oriented system created serious problem, which is pressure from parents, unprepared teachers, and burdensome syllabus, student mental health concern, and a lack of holistic education. This issue led the government to introduce reform through the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013-2025, including the abolition of UPSR and PT3.
I will continue about the objective. The first key objective of the Malaysian education system transformation is to gain a deep understanding of the current performance and challenges that exist in our system. The Ministry of Education undertook extensive research and engaged with the public to gather insight. Through this process, 5 main focus areas were identified. First, one is increasing access to education for all, raising the quality and standard of teaching and learning, addressing inequities in student achievement, fostering unity among students of diverse backgrounds. The last one is maximizing efficiency of the system overall. However, one major challenge that has persisted for years is that the education system is too examination oriented. Exams such as UPSR and PMR were originally designed to measure learning progress, but in practice, they become tools for student selection into elite schools. The results provided only surface level feedback and didn't help teachers adapt their teaching to meet student real learning needs. Moreover, with the introduction of PTT, teachers had to juggle two types of assessment, which is high stake assessment, which is HSA, and school-based assessment, SBA. This created tension because HSA focuses on standardization while SBA is more holistic. The pressure of balancing both put a strain on teachers, affecting the quality of teaching and the credibility of assessment. The second major objective is to establish a clear vision and aspiration for the future education in Malaysia. This vision was outlined in the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025, which aimed to guide the system for the next 13 years. The vision included major reform in the first is the curriculum and assessment method, second the professional developments of teachers, and the strengthening of school leadership and governance. One of the most significant steps taken by the ministry was the abolishment of UPSR and PT3, replaced with the Pentaksiran Bilik Darjah, which is PBD, a classroom-based assessment method. PBD reflects a shift from exam-based evaluation to a more authentic and holistic approach. It emphasized 3 things, which is continuous monitoring of student development, assessing both academic and personal growth, and ensuring fair learning opportunities for students. Teachers now play a bigger role, not just in teaching but also in evaluating students in real time. They use PBD to identify prior knowledge, monitor progress, plan strategy, and take appropriate follow-up action. This approach encourages collaboration between teachers, students, parents, and the school community in the education process. The last and the third objective is to implement a comprehensive transformation program that improves the entire education system, including the Ministry of Education itself. The Malaysian Education Blueprint is not just about fixing what's broken, it's about creating a system that can meet new demand, rising global standards, and prepare students for the future. To achieve this, the Ministry of Education developed 11 strategic shifts, which serve as the pillar of transformation. These include providing equal access to quality education, ensuring every student achieves a minimum standard, fostering unity and shared value, making teaching a profession of choice, cultivating high-performing school leaders, empowering decision-making at the state and school level, integrating ICT to enhance learning, engaging parents and local community, strengthening technical and vocational education and training, improving the ministry delivering capabilities, and the last one is getting the best of every ringgit spent. This strategic shift showed that the transformation is not limited to classroom, but included policies change, leadership development, and financial accountability. It is a system-wide reform intended to build a future-proof education ecosystem. To conclude my part, the transformation of Malaysian education system is built on three key objectives, which is 1. Understanding existing performance and challenges to inform meaningful reforms. Second one is establishing a clear vision and aspiration that support holistic student development. And the third one is outlining a comprehensive system-wide transformation program that prepare our student, teacher and school for the demand of 21st century. This objective reflect the commitment of Ministry of Education to ensure equity, quality, unity and efficiency across all levels of the system. That's all from me. I will pass to my friends.
From the above, there are a few strategies that are being implemented under those objectives. Let me walk through you one by one of the objectives and the strategies. Malaysia take part in two major international assessment. The first one is PISA or Program for International Student Assessment. Tests 15-year-old students in reading, mathematics and science every 3 years. The IMS or the Trends in International Mathematics and Science Study assess younger students in grade 4 and grade 8 every 4 years, focusing on maths and science. One key system is SAPS or System Analysis Peperiksaan Sekolah. SAPS allows schools to analyze students' exam results in detail. It also helps teachers identify both strong areas and those that need extra support. Another important tool is the National Education Data Warehouse or NEW. This is a centralized platform that collects various types of education data such as student performance, school attendance and teacher information. At the heart of the vision are what we call the 6 student attributes. First, a solid foundation in knowledge means students must master essential subjects such as mathematics, science and language. Second, we emphasize critical and creative thinking. Students need to learn how to analyze, evaluate and come up with innovative solutions. Third, students are expected to build leadership skills which include teamwork and the ability to guide and inspire others. Fourth, bilingual proficiency in both Bahasa Malaysia and English is a key focus. Able to communicate effectively in both languages gives students a competitive edge. Fifth, strong ethics and spirituality are nurtured to help students grow into morally grounded individuals who understand right from wrong. Lastly, a deep sense of national identity is essential. Students are encouraged to take pride in being Malaysian and to understand and appreciate our history and culture. An important part of this transformation is the focus on higher order thinking skills or HOTS. Instead of memorizing facts, students are now encouraged to think critically, evaluate different perspectives, solve problems creatively, and communicate their ideas clearly. We promote these skills is through school-based assessment or PBS. These assessments allow students to apply what they have learned in meaningful ways through group projects, presentations, experiments, and other hands-on activities. Also, prepare students for the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. Malaysia introduced a major initiative called One Bestari Net. This nationwide program aimed to provide all schools with reliable internet access and digital tools to support teaching and learning. One of the key components of the initiative was the Frog Virtual Learning Environment, or Frog VLE. This is an online platform where teachers and students can access learning materials, collaborate on projects, and share resources anytime, anywhere. The goal was simple but powerful: to make learning more interactive, engaging, and accessible, especially in schools located in rural or underserved areas. By integrating technology into daily classroom practice, One Bestarinet aimed to narrow the digital gap and modernize how education is delivered across the country. Recognizing this, Malaysia has also made significant efforts to raise teacher standards and enhance professional development. Firstly, the entry requirements for students enrolling in teacher training KHALID, also known as IPGs, have been made more selective. This ensures that only those in strong academic abilities and a genuine passion for teaching are admitted. Second, for those already in the teaching profession, the government has invested in Continuous Professional Development, or CPD. These training programs are designed to meet the real needs of teachers in today's classroom. CPD ensures that teachers stay current and confident in their teaching.
So now I will continue with the evaluation related to the objective and problems of this policy. They were aimed to show whether the success of this policy has been achieved or not within a relevant time frame. Under this new time framework, teacher plays a key role in assessing student progress through a classroom-based assessment. One of the most critical factors in the successful implementation of this system is teacher readiness. Before this policy was implemented, Malaysian education system was highly focused on academic achievement, where teachers only focused on preparing students for exam by providing extra classes, practicing examination techniques, and not even prioritizing co-curricular activities to allocate more time for exam preparation. However, with the introductions of school-based assessment, there has been a significant change where teachers are now encouraged to adopt a more balanced and student-centered approach to teaching. The concept of school-based assessment has been inspired by the PADI model, which stands for Profile, Achievement, Development, and Engagement. This model empowers teachers to assess students more holistically, taking into account their involvement in overall development academically, physically, and emotionally. Despite the challenge posed by this shift, several studies have shown a promising result. For instance, in 2021, a study conducted among SJKT teachers in the Gombak and Hulu Selangor district revealed that 97.3% of the teachers expressed a positive perception towards PBD and were eager to implement it in their schools. This is because, to ensure success in achieving this objective, Malaysian government needs to play a key role in providing training, resources, and guidelines to help teachers navigate the new system effectively. Next is the neglect of holistic student development. Students become overly focused on academics, leading to an imbalance in other essential areas of development such as character building, creativity, and co-curricular involvement. A study conducted by the Ministry of Education found that over 70% of secondary school students participated more in academic programs rather in co-curriculum activity. This happened because students often spend a lot of time in tuition, extra co-curricular classes, and exam revision, leaving little time for holistic growth. In addition, this is because of the pressure on students toward academics from society and parents, who are more concerned with examination results rather than their other achievement in sports or other non-academic domains. So students begin to limit the development of important soft skills in their life, such as leadership, teamwork, time management, and communication that are important for their future. However, this situation is beginning to change with the implementations of school-based assessment, along with several other integrated assessments such as classroom assessment, physical, sport and co-curricular assessment, and psychometric assessment, which promote a more comprehensive and continuous development model, not only in academic intellectual but also in emotional, physical, and social well-being. To ensure that this agenda is implemented and assessed systematically, the Ministry of Education Malaysia has updated the PBD Implementation Guidebook, which is a second edition 2019, which is now more complete and includes a quality assurance tool such as checklists for monitoring, tracking, and coordination. Apart from that, the positive impact of this policy shift has already begun to be noticeable. Some students have stated that the new system has enabled them to achieve a healthy balance between academics and extracurricular activities. It's directly improved their personal character and well-being.
Hi, now let me explain at several witnesses that show why the evaluation of PT3 and UPSR, although well-intended, is still far from successful. First, understanding current performance and challenges. Although the Ministry of Education Malaysia has shown strong effort in evaluating this policy, the results have not been promising. Despite replacing UPSR and PT3 with classroom-based assessment (PPD), psychometric assessment (MPAJSK), the system is still unclear to many teachers and parents. This lack of clarity causes inconsistency in implementation across schools, especially in rural areas where resources are limited. For example, 10,177 students dropped out from SPM in 2023 due to issues with reading, writing, arithmetic, and over 120,000 Year 1 students face similar learning problem. Even the national average grade (GPN) dropped, showing no major improvement in academic performance. In conclusion, the evaluation was meant to reduce exam pressure and improve learning, but current results show that system is struggle to support all students effectively. Second point of witnesses is establishing a clear vision and aspirations. The ministry vision is clear to shift toward a holistic, student-centered approach as stated in the Malaysian Education Blueprint. However, in practice, there is a big gap. Some teachers, especially older ones, still cling to exam-oriented method. Meanwhile, parents still use grade as the main measure of success. Research shows that younger teachers adapt better to new system, while others struggle to move away from traditional method. The generational gap in teaching culture has made it hard to move forward uniformly. Students also get mixed signals about what success actually means. In conclusions, a clear vision alone is not enough. Without a change in mindset, consistent training, and support all educators, the vision remains difficult to implement. Next point is outlining comprehensive transformation program. The ministry did introduce new system and training, but complaints still continue. Many parents feel that students now less motivated, and some even suggest bring back PT3 and UPSR. Professor Dr. Anwar Ahmad from UKM stated that PBD has failed since 2017, not because of teacher effort, but due to a weak ecosystem. Even Malaysia performance in the PISA 2022 dropped, reflecting issue in implementation. In fact, many schools still do not have a proper monitoring system to track whether assessments are done fairly or effectively. In conclusion, although structural changes were made, the system lacked proper education and readiness, showing that transformation alone is not enough without strong foundation and support. Next point, student stress and mental health concerns. One of the strongest reasons for abolishing UPSR and PT3 was to reduce student stress. But the reality, suicide and mental health issues have increased. In 2018, a student even took his own life on the day of his PT3 exam. And in 2023, suicide case rose to 1,087, a 10% increase from the previous year. The NHMS report also showed that mental health problems among students more than doubled, from 7.9% to 60.5%. Stress now comes from unclear expectation, pressure to perform a new system, and lack of emotional support from school and families. In conclusions, removing exam may to reduce some stress, but it do not solve the deeper mental health crisis. Students need real support, not just fewer tests.
Exam-oriented and education reform occurs due to a growing concerns about the width and intensity of the school syllabus. Previously, the Malaysian education system emphasized a memorization and the needs for students to absorb a large amount of knowledge across all subjects in a limited time frame. This will lead to a negative consequences. A study from University Putra Malaysia in 2021 shows that secondary school students experience a significant stress and anxiety in studying a difficult and dense subject. Furthermore, it can be seen that primary school students also experience the same problem, which is the syllabus content was not only dense but also not in line with their cognitive development and age level, making it difficult for students to cope with it. As a result, it can lack in a motivation, including a decline in academic performance caused by the overwhelming pressure to master everything at once. Although this reform policy was introduced partly to reduce the syllabus burden, the results so far have been mixed. In fact, there is no official evidence to confirm that the syllabus has become more manageable. However, it seems that students nowadays are faced with a denser content than before. For example, Year 1 and 2 students in primary school are not required to participate in extracurricular activities with the aim of focusing on core subjects that can lead to the excessive academic pressure on students. Additionally, in 2019, Ministry of Education Malaysia has required a primary students in years 1 until 3 to study a wide range of core and additional subjects. This has been caused some parents to question the relevance of certain topics. For example, insurance and takaful in mathematics being introduced to children at a such young age is a very illogical and difficult for them to handle. So this point has not given a positive impact either on a student, teachers or parents. Academic achievement in Malaysia has been equated with a high exam scores, often used as a primary benchmark for a child's intelligence, worth and future success. However, this thinking has a serious consequences, especially when it comes to parental expectation. Before this reform, many students were found to be under extreme pressure from their parents to success academically in terms of their mental and emotional well-being. A report by one of Malaysian newspaper 2024 revealed that children were taught from a young age that their self-worth was completely lied to their academic result. This has led to the scenario where many students wake up every day not just to study but to compete for grades, recognitions and parental approval. Good results are often seen as a ticket to a promising career, leading to a culture where achievement is prioritized over well-being. Education is an important aspect of society, but it should not have a negative impact on children's mental and physical health. The Ministry of Health has also expressed a concern over this trend, stating that many students have become isolated from leisure activities, social and development, and adequate rest due to extreme academic demands and high expectation from home. Unfortunately, there is currently no official data showing a significant change in parenting attitudes following the implementation of this policy. In fact, some parents have voiced their dissatisfaction and concern over the removal of UPSR and PT3 because they may believe that centralized exam motivates a student to work harder and create a healthy academic competition. Without this formal benchmark, some feels that their children may lack of discipline, focus, and a measurable sense of achievement. Last but not least, some argue that there is a deep-rooted cultural mindset where success is often measured not only by academic excellence but also by anything that benefits and brings a family pride. This suggests that even with a new reform, students may continue to face the same pressure at home.
Now, I would like to share some key recommendations to help improve its implementation. These 6 areas focus on strengthening teacher and parent involvement, improving system structure, reducing stress from syllabus overload, and better supporting student mental health. Let's look at each one briefly. First, it's important to boost general awareness and teacher preparation. Many teachers and parents are still not fully aware of how PBS work, which cause confusion and weakest implementation. Training should focus on modern strategy for using tools like PBD, PHSK, and psychometric tests. We also need to build stronger support for holistic assessment. Research shows that the younger teachers are more open to this new method, while older teachers may prefer traditional exam. So we must provide professional development for all levels and generation of teachers. At the same time, many parents still emphasize test score and don't fully trust PBS. This pressure holds students back and slows down the shift to a more balanced learning system. So changing mindset through clear communication is the essential. Our third recommendation is to strengthen the foundation of PBS itself. As noted by Professor Dr. Anwar Ahmad, the current structure lacked clear planning and consistent support, which make it hard for school to implement PBS effectively. Next, we must simplify the school syllabus. Right now, students are overwhelmed with too much material and teachers don't have enough time to cover it meaningfully. A more manageable curriculum will reduce stress, allow students to focus on deeper learning and creativity. Fifth, parents need a better guidance on how to support their children's overall development, not just academics. When parents understand the importance of soft skills like communication, creativity, and emotional resilience, they can play a more positive role at home. To conclude, the shift from EPSR and PT3 to the PBS system marked a major turning point in Malaysian education reform. This new approach supports more than just academic performance. It focuses on developing critical thinking, emotional health, and student creativity. However, the full potential of PBS hasn't been realized yet. There are still challenges with teachers' readiness, parental expectation, and system education. We need better planning, consistent training, mental health service, and public engagement to overcome this barrier. If all teachers, parents, and the government, which is the Ministry of Education, works together, the PBS system can become a strong and lasting foundation for building not just smart students, but confident, well-rounded citizens ready for the future. Thank you. That's all for us.